Pastor Omar Wilks, pastor of Unison Pentecostal Church, founder of Clergy Alliance for Justice International, and also the founder of the International Aiyana Alliance. And one of the things I came here today because I am so frustrated, I am so outraged to what happened to our sister, Aiyana Jones. You know, where do you draw the line between a killing and a murder when the cops were warned that there were children in the house? And as you can see, right here, you can point to those toys, brother. As you can see, there's toys in the yard. The cops, they saw these toys in the yard, and they were warned, as Carl Dix said in the car, that there were children in the house, and they still went for it anyhow. They came up these stairs. As you can see, they busted the flash grenade through the window. They threw the flash grenade through the window, which landed on Aiyana Jones and the house. The cops have to be held accountable. They can't keep killing our men, women, and children and think they can get away with it. You know, we have a moral obligation to stand up and organize anytime the cops kill and murder our children and have the audacity to try to cover it up. And this is why I'm here today. We're calling for justice, and I plan to continue to come to Detroit and organize with Brother Carl Dix and many other community leaders right here in Detroit, Michigan, to say that the cops cannot come into our community, kill and murder our children. Another thing that I just want to quickly bring up, you know, many people are raising the question about black on black crime, and many people are saying that Aiyana Jones' death is due to some murder suspect that was in the house. One of the things I want to point out is that these are two separate apartments. There's an entrance that way that leads upstairs, and then there's an entrance right here that has Aiyana Jones where they stayed at. And in this apartment right here, there is no upstairs. You can't go upstairs from her apartment. So I just wanted to point that out to the viewers, is that you cannot get to the upstairs apartment through this entrance. That leads to a whole separate apartment. I want to say to people that black on black crime has nothing to do with the murder of Aiyana Jones. The real question is, what does the police cover-up has to do with the murder of Aiyana Jones? In fact, the police are just as guilty as the murder suspect they were looking for, because they killed a child and they attempted to cover it up and frame the grandmother. And so we're here to call for justice. One of the things I want to say right from the steps of Aiyana Jones' house that she was murdered is that we're going to call for a march in September on the Justice Department, because we are going to be calling on Eric Holder to launch an investigation into the killing of Aiyana Jones. Congressman John Conyers submitted a bill that submitted a request to Eric Holder that he launch an investigation. And I'm standing right here on Aiyana Jones' doorstep, you know, to call for Eric Holder to launch this investigation, to call for Obama to get involved. You know what I'm saying? It's a disgrace. How are you going to send your wife, after the week after Aiyana Jones was killed, you sent your wife right here into this community to speak to school children, but she couldn't even reach out to Aiyana Jones' mother and father. Don't tell me she didn't have enough time to come out here and reach out to them. Don't tell me that. You know what I'm saying? You had Eric Holder, who came into town and said nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? He has to be held accountable. You know, and I'm just frustrated. I feel like crying. I'm crying inside right now, and I'm trying to hold myself right now. You know, just look at these toys in the yard. And this is what the officers, the special response team, the so-called special response team, saw when they began to come onto this property.
As we were coming along, we rode past the funeral home where the viewing of Aiyana's body was. And one thing that struck me is how many people came in, looked at the body of that little girl, and then said, she should be playing with toys,
Mm.
not lying here dead.
Mm.
And now I'm looking at these toys, and you know, that statement comes back to me, and the wanton disregard that these cops had for the humanity of that little girl.
Mm.
Because they saw toys strewn in the yard. The cousin tells them their children in there. They come up here, they should have seen two different entrances, and somebody should have been clear which one was which. But that was not a consideration for them. They throw a grenade, they fire in, and then when they found out that they messed up, then they concoct the story that the family was responsible. Grandma struggled with the cop and the gun went off, which is a lie. But it's a lie that they still have not admitted. They went into the wrong apartment. The police department has not yet said, well, we've looked into this. And how long would it have taken you to figure out you were in the wrong apartment? You should have been able to figure that out in a couple of minutes. They still have not come out, and they've been doing so-called an investigation by the state police of Michigan. There still has not been a statement that the Detroit police squad that went in there was in the wrong apartment.